Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Well, happy days. Apparently, the appellate court has looked over the gag order in the New York civil case and has decided to lift its temporary stay of that gag order while the appeals court mulls over its final decision. So, while the gag order was being appealed, the gag order was also suspended during that appeal. The appellate court or a judge has ruled that the gag order could be reinstated while it's being appealed. I think Trump can point to, look in the mirror, and the guy looking back at him, the one running his mouth about the judge's law clerk, heck, now even the judge's wife, all being anti-Trumpers, never Trumpers, Trump haters. You can look at the guy who caused that gag order to be reinstated. So let's look at the energy around the upcoming appellate court decision on that gag order, and then we'll look at how it impacts other gag order cases that are currently going on. Entertainment purposes only, because heaven forbid we say that say anything that's defamatory on this channel. Okay. Base of the reading is the Page of Pentacles. Coming through with that message, it's the messaging aspect. This could be part of the gag order or something to that effect. Let's see what the cross is here. And Two of Wands. Okay, so basically, they had paused the gag order while they were pondering what to do, but now that gag order is being reinstated because, again, it's obvious he's not going to stop attacking the judge, the clerk, now the judge's wife, amongst other people. And so he's done it to himself. If he had kept his mouth shut, the gag order would still be lifted. But he couldn't. So again, we're going to see the truth in the path forward here. In the past, this is just Trump doing what he pleases, saying what he pleases, with no consequences to his actions whatsoever. And this gag order was like the first time in forever that this guy was actually having a consequence installed on him. Twice he's been fined because he can't keep his mouth shut. Of course, his lawyers volunteered to pay his fine for him, so he still doesn't have to face the humility of writing a check, but he's just arrogant. Current situation is the Lover's card. Okay, Trump has said that the law clerk, is a lover to Chuck Schumer, and then he goes after the woman that's married to the judge, and he's just he's constantly attacking women. He's attacking the judge, and at the end of the day, enough's enough. If you want the case to move forward without the drama, then you have to set up some boundaries here. It's an agreement to pause. It's an agreement for the appeal, but somebody can't keep their mouth shut, so they have to overturn the stay. Overarching energy, this is going to lead to that appeal being denied. The full gag order will make it through. The fact that they overturned it now, they had it stayed while it was being considered. They overturned it, so now the gag order is back in place. Before the appellate court has ruled, it's probably going to mean the appellate court's going to rule to keep that gag order in place. Prove to me that you can behave yourself and act like a civilized adult, and we'll take this gag order away. Oh, you couldn't do it. Okay, gag order's back in. Mom and Dad will make the decision on Monday. That type of thing. Trump just does not have the strength to show any type of self-control. Long and short of it, they're going to understand that he's got no self-control. If he can't keep his mouth shut, then the nice little lady of the court's going to have to muzzle this lion because he just won't stop. Out comes the Queen of Pentacles. Everything's going to calm down. a bit when this gag order is put in place. We started with the page, with the testing the gag order. Now we're going to go to the Queen. We've gone up a couple of steps. And this gag order will remain in place. And I wouldn't doubt if this gag order in New York on the civil case is going to light the way towards gag orders in other courts, say Judge Chutkin's, where it's also been paused. Speaking of pausing, I should pause this video. Pause this video for a commercial. He's just a man baby. I mean, for God's sake. His parents failed him. His parents really, really failed him. Now, for everything I read from Mary's Trump book, he was a difficult child to begin with. But, and to the point where they shipped him off to military school. And that didn't seem to rectify it. That, or they didn't follow up at the house. Maybe if they followed up at the house, they could have done something and then keep sending him back there until he gets the message. But Fred Trump wasn't like that. And here we are all suffering the consequences of bad parenting. Judge Chutkin's case. Well, let's ask. Okay, so for Carter, how's the appeals court going to rule in New York for the New York civil trial? Well, they're going to give somebody some information they don't want to hear, and I don't think it's going to be us. Oh, it's going to go to the guy who just runs his mouth whenever he wants. Well, there's the hermit card again. You did this. We didn't want to do this, but you did this. This is on you. And there's the gag. You did this to yourself. You got nobody to blame but yourself. Yeah, they're going to manifest. Ooh, interesting. I wonder if the gag order is actually going to expand a little bit. Because he went after the judge's wife. So you might have to expand the gag order now. Way to go, Donald. Very unfair. All right. Now we'll ask about Judge Chutkin's. How will the New York gag order appellate court ruling impact Judge Chutkin's gag order? The appellate court that's reviewing Judge Chutkin's order. What's the energy around the gag order involving the Washington, D.C. case, the January 6th insurrection? Entertainment purposes only. All right, let's see what we got. Come on down. What's the energy around that one? Celebration. I think this is good news for folks that want that gag order reinstated. Yep, there's the gag order. We have the celebration. We have the gag order being reinstated in New York, which will probably really influence the gag order being reinstated in Washington, D.C. The appellate court and the judges are working on it right now. And I think part of what it is, what they're hammering out here is, now how do you limit the gag order so that he's not disrupting the trial, but still allowing him to discuss things on the campaign trail that are relevant to his reelection? There isn't a lot of overlap between the two, but he finds a way to insult people along the way. It's because that's just what he does. Okay, so what are they? Again, they're considering, how much or how little of the gag order in Judge Chutkin's case should be enforced right now. So we're in that decision-making phase. The pros and cons of gagging the president or the ex-president of the United States. Page of Pentacles, but they're going to go forward with a decision. Now, mind you, the gag order in the civil case was the Page of Pentacles. Now we're to the Knight of Pentacles. So I think the gag order result in the civil trial is bolstering the gag order response in the DC trial, because now there's precedent to base your decision off of. I think, I don't know if they've got all the evidence or all the information or all the filings that they need, but they're waiting on those. Maybe they're waiting to see what the New York civil case does before they make their decision. But it's going to come after the New York civil trial decision. The way I'm reading this, it's like they're waiting for something to come in. And the thing that makes the most sense is the New York civil trial decision, and then they will move on it from there. The lesson to be learned is when you let the devil off the leash, the devil acts like the devil. And so you're going to have to deal with this. And, and his surrogates who are willing to, and I think that's part of the problem here, is that with Trump's threats, they're never direct threats. They're implied threats that other people would take, the mob boss speak. You better stop doing this or else something bad will happen to you. And looks at these two over here, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You two be the people that do the bad thing to there, so I could say that I was right. That type of thing. So I think they understand who they're dealing with, and there's no stopping him. He's not reasonable. He will just always go down the most destructive path. Outcome is the Page of Swords. I think that, how am I going to translate that? Is this that they think they're going to give him more leeway in the insurrection case? They might look at Judge Chutkin's order and say it's overly broad, and then they trim some parts off of it. It may not be a big trimming. They might take one or two things off or chop away at the edges of it. This could also be that if they do return it, Trump is the one chopping away at the edges. But I think you're going to find that with Judge Chutkin's gag order, they're going to chop away at they're looking at chopping away at the edges of it. That maybe it was just a small bit of an overreach. So we'll ask. So that's the energy around the gag order for Judge Chutkin currently. In the spirit, if the New York civil trial re-implements the gag order, what's the DC court going to do? Are they going to reinstitute the full gag order, or are they going to not institute a gag order, or are they going to institute a watered-down gag order? I have a hard time believing that they'll institute something heavier, but I would not be surprised if they do that in the DC trial, in the New York civil trial. Okay. DC Court of Appeals, insurrection case, gag order, reinstated, but not as broad, not reinstated at all. What do you got for us, for Carter? They're still working on it. They're going to be working on it. They're trying to look at things from a different perspective. Maybe this is just, maybe with this one, they don't want to lose on appeal or have things drag out in the courts with this. Or, they gave him a chance and they're looking at him and, if he screws up, they throw him under the bus. Let's see what we else have over here. Here we go. They're looking at what that temporary gag order did, both in the New York civil trial and this trial. And I think what they're doing is they're watching the New York civil trial. And that, Five of Swords, he can't help himself. You let him play without rules and he cheats. And he doesn't care what he does. Oh, good Lord. And underneath this devil card. Yeah, they're going to try and rein him in. I think they're going to wait to see. This really isn't answering me. They don't have an answer yet because they're still working on the case. But they will look at the DC. They'll look at the New York case to impact what they see with the DC case, because maybe they don't want to take away all his First Amendment rights here, but at the same time, you cannot trust this man to act like a civilized being. He's too narcissistic to do so. Okay. To be determined. But what do we get from all this? Trump's his own worst enemy. Gag order will be reinstated in New York. D.C. is looking at his case and maybe looking at chopping it back. But in the end of the day, when they make their decisions based on the underlying actions of Donald Trump and the fact that when there are no guardrails, anything goes with him. There's not a sense of decency or morality or ethics. There's not an ethical bone in that man's body. I'm not saying that to be mean. It's just the way it is. Entertainment purposes only. Okay, that's it. Thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you for your likes and your shares and your comments and everything you do to feed the algorithm. So my video makes it out to a newer audience, a wider audience, a broader audience. To the new folks just seeing this, my channel for the first time or for the first few times, welcome to the channel. Glad you found us. Hope you enjoyed this video and found it insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.